Will you pray with me? Lord, now the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, you who are our strength and our Redeemer. Amen. It is hard to know what to say or how to make a last Sunday special. When considering this parable of the two sons, I thought about how much fun it would be to stage it as a drama. Now, pre-COVID, I would have known how to do that. I was much less confident I could pull it off on Zoom. Thankfully, Bruce and Vicky gave me the perfect musical score and cast for this little whodunit about living a life of faith with integrity and following through on the work that God has called each of us to do. And in the process of creating the little movie short, I discovered something I had initially missed. The Father does not ask for his son's help. He simply tells them to go and work in the vineyard today. And nowhere does the Father say exactly what work the sons are being asked to do or told to do. And this raises the question, how did the sons know what was needed to be done? How do any of us know? 3 thoughts come to mind. First, that go and work in the vineyard is contextual and requires some discernment. COVID has made the contextual nature of our lives obvious. No matter what your work, as a pastor or teacher, student, business owner, retail worker, bartender, musician, parent, or even if you are retired from all of it, what we do with our time today may be very different from a year ago, or 3 months ago, or even last week. What we do is evolving, as it should really, because no active, productive, or profitable vineyard is static or a monoculture. Even without a pandemic, a multi-generational enterprise needs to be consistently replanting, renewing, and retooling itself. It needs an infinite mindset that allows for continued health, growth, and engagement. Go and work in the vineyard ask more from us than merely showing up, punching a clock, and putting our minds and hands to any particular task. Maya Angelou is quoted as saying, "At the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or did. They will remember how you made them feel." What part might the attitude and mindful presence of the worker play in this parable and in our daily lives? Picture in your mind the two sons going about the very same tasks, but with radically different attitudes. One perhaps taking pleasure in interacting with customers or field workers, and the other barking orders with little patience for customers' needs. One who takes great care in pruning and harvesting the grapevines, placing maximum attention to the health of the plants, and the other simply working quickly and with less attention to detail, caring most about efficiency and profit margins. One who works long hours but makes time to spend with his family. The other working equally long hours but is too tired to be meaningfully present to those closest to him. How we show up to do the work that needs doing matters. And finally, go and work in the vineyard is both an obligation, but also an opportunity for blessing. There's a lot going on in our lives and in our world right now. We are all carrying the burden of the pandemic and relentless change. Change in our work and in our freedom of movement, change in the political landscape and in our relationships with family and friends, change in our perception of privilege and our awareness of the deep pain and injustice in our communities, change in climate and our awareness of the fragility of ecosystems, change that is both close to home and change on the global scale. We do not need one more burden, one more request on our time, one more drain on our bandwidth. We can already easily exhaust ourselves trying to do enough of all the right things. Into all of this mess and chaos and change, God is saying to us, go and work in the vineyard today. God isn't asking. God is telling us to go because the work of the vineyard is love. And love is what the world needs. Love is the most important and the most powerful force of all. Love is what fills us up and gives us strength to keep going. We go and work in the vineyard because it is the one thing that can consistently bring us back to ourselves, to our neighbors, and to God. To go and work in the vineyard is to bring blessing on our lives and the lives of others. On those days when you feel you have accomplished nothing because you have dealt patiently with a million little interruptions, or because your body has simply needed sleep. No, this is vineyard work. On those days when you need to unplug and get outside to maintain your sanity, no, this is vineyard work. On those days when you choose to ditch the laundry and dishes to play a child's game, call a loved one, or have a socially distanced visit with a friend, know this is vineyard work. On those days when stress baking is the balm for your soul, know that this is vineyard work, as is sharing that bounty with others. On those days when you feel the world is headed south in a handbasket and your conscience moves you to take action for justice, you don't need anyone's permission, but you might benefit from someone else's knowledge, perspective, and companionship. And know that this is vineyard work. On those days when voices of conflict and division are sinking your soul, recall God's love for all creation. Sing a song of hope and praise instead, and know that this is vineyard work. On those days when you are missing being at church, remember, there has never been one right way to be the church. Remember that you are the church, and that all of the ways you can dream up to connect, share, and pray for one another is vineyard work. My time here with you has come to an end. Our paths diverge, but God's presence and leading continue. I can think of no more fitting words for both of us than these. Go and work in the vineyard. May we say yes